stepped off the transport van with no rank on her collar, no salutes, no fanfare. Just a clipboard under her arm and a beige logistics vest zipped to the neck. Civilian ID clipped low. No unit. No patches. Her name tag, R. Connolly, was printed in black on a white strip of plastic. Temporary issue. Petty Officer Reyes saw her for the first time on a Thursday. She walked into the supply lot like she'd done it 100 times. Calm. Unhurried. No clipboard tapping. No fake smiles. Just moving crate by crate, checking serials, logging the heat-warped containers that no one else wanted to audit. Nothing special. Until the Master Chief passed her. Big man. 25-year SEAL. Full trident. Reyes had never seen him even glance at base contractors, but when he spotted her, he slowed, stopped, and nodded. Not casual. Not polite. Deliberate. A single nod, chin down, eyes steady, like respect held in silence. She didn't return it. Just moved to the next container. Reyes blinked. He was new here. Logistics rotation, base side, handling gear manifests and resupply routes. Not flashy, but it gave him time to observe. And he noticed details. This woman moved like she belonged. No wasted motion. No posture to prove anything. But the SEALs who saw her? They moved out of her way. One held the door open without being asked. Another paused mid-conversation, fell quiet as she passed. Reyes checked her intake file that night. Name, Rowan Connolly. Status, civilian contractor. Assignment, inventory rotation. History redacted. That last part wasn't normal. Even civilian contractors had previous post references. But hers just stopped. 10 years ago. Nothing before that. The next morning, she was already walking the southern bay before sunrise. Reyes saw her from the gate. She had a pencil tucked behind her ear, a roll of waterproof tape in one hand, and a look on her face like she could hear the ocean through steel walls. He followed her with his eyes, and thought, why is someone like her still counting crates? The cargo lifts were late that morning. Weather off the coast had stalled incoming transport, and half the base was scrambling to adjust timelines. It was the kind of chaos that usually brought noise, radios crackling, forklift brakes squealing, tempers running short. But not for her. Connolly stood at the edge of Bay 3, clipboard in hand, marking pallets before they even touched the ground. She didn't bark orders. Didn't need to. The loaders moved smoother when she was nearby. Reyes stood beside the intake terminal, pretending to update timestamps, but really, watching. That's when a SEAL walked up behind her. Not a junior. Chief Yates. Explosives expert. Tier 1 team. Known for not saying anything he didn't mean. Reyes had seen him once silence a briefing room with just a look. He came down the ramp behind her, hauling a crate marked classified, the kind that didn't sit long on base. Connolly didn't turn. She was noting serial numbers in her calm, scratchy handwriting. Yates stopped behind her, waited, then took 2 steps back. He didn't interrupt her work, didn't cut around her. He stood still, like he was waiting for permission to pass. When she finished writing, she looked up, not at him, just at the crate, then nodded, slightly. That's when he moved, didn't speak, didn't make eye contact, just passed behind her, slow and deliberate, like someone remembering a protocol that wasn't on paper anymore. Reyes felt something tighten behind his ribs. That wasn't respect, that was recognition, but it didn't make sense. She wore no tabs, no wings, not even the usual veteran red ID stripe. So why did SEALs, men who didn't blink for colonels, move quietly around her? Later that day, Reyes passed her in the supply corridor. She was kneeling by a crate, resealing the hinges with a thick utility strap. Her hands moved with precision. Not the rushed kind, the trained kind. She glanced up as he approached. Just once. Pallet 39's miscounted, she said. He frowned. I haven't logged it yet. She tightened the strap. You will. He checked 5 minutes later. Pallet 39, off by 2 units. He didn't say anything. But when he walked back past her, she was already at the next stack. It happened over lunch. A handful of logistics staff had gathered near the shade tent beside the intake lot. Just enough breeze to keep the flies off the tables. Reyes sat across from a comms tech he barely knew and 2 supply corporals with too much to say. Connolly was 20 yards away, alone at the edge of the concrete, eating quietly by the wall. Same posture, same silence, her food untouched for minutes. Then Corporal Dunn made the mistake. He gestured with his fork toward her, chuckling through a bite. That one? He said. She's the failed BUD/S story, right? First female candidate, like 10 years back? Lasted, what, 2 weeks? The other corporal laughed. Thought it was longer. She made it through Hell Week, didn't she? Nah. Rang out early. Freezing splash. Couldn't hack it. The words weren't mean. Just careless. Like they'd seen her from far away and decided she was already written. Reyes felt it before he reacted. A chill across his shoulders, like something in the air had gone still. Then came the voice. Low, flat, from behind them. You don't know a damn thing. They turned. Chief Yates stood there, plate untouched in one hand, the other resting on the back of a bench like he was holding himself in place. His eyes weren't angry. They were sharp, focused, remembering. Dunn tried to laugh it off. Wasn't trying to. Yates stepped forward and said, She didn't ring out. No one spoke. He continued. She didn't quit. She took someone else's place on a log run. A broken ankle on another candidate. She knew what it meant. Took the hit anyway. Reyes didn't breathe. Yates looked at each of them. Try carrying someone for 12 miles with a torn hamstring. Try finishing anyway, Yates said. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't have to. Then he looked at Reyes, just briefly. She didn't fail, Chief Yates said evenly. She finished something most of us never could. That afternoon, Reyes checked the BUD/S class records. Class 318, completed. 6 drops, 1 setback swap. No female names listed. But at the bottom of the training log, in faint pen, like someone had added it after the paperwork was closed, he found one line. Candidate substituted on day 12. Outcome not recorded. The old dive locker wasn't locked, just forgotten. It sat behind the secondary gear bay, past where anyone cared to sweep. Half the bins hadn't been opened in years, tagged with faded paint, stencil numbers rubbed smooth by weather and time. Reyes wasn't snooping. Not really. He'd been told to update the inventory records for legacy gear. Most of it was junk, worn fins, broken buckles, bleached-out harnesses. But halfway through the 4th bin, buried under a stack of dry-rotted straps, he found it. A small, black-bound journal. No name. Just a stamped number on the corner. 318R. His hands stilled. He opened it slowly. Inside, not plans, not logs, but entries. Tight handwriting. Sparse. Exact. It wasn't a diary. It was something else. He scanned the first page. Day 4. Chest tight. Shoulders locking. Don't say it out loud. Don't show it. If I can't finish the next run, he won't make it either. He's limping. I'll take the weight. Reyes kept reading. Every page was the same. Observations, decisions, strain. Never complaints. One line stood out. Day 12. Instructor called for a log team. One man dropped out, ankle gone. I stepped in. Didn't ask. I'll take the fail if it means he finishes. He swallowed hard. Turned the page. Last entry. They said I could appeal. That it wasn't my weight to carry. But it was. It always was. No name. No signature. Just a final note tucked into the back cover. Pencil faded. Barely legible. Finished in silence. They'll know. Reyes didn't take the journal. Didn't need to. He closed it, returned it exactly where he found it, and replaced the dry straps on top. When he walked back through the bay, she was there. Rowan Connolly, clipboard in hand, face calm. Still counting. But now he knew. And when he passed her this time, he nodded. Not for hello, for respect. It was late. Most of the day crew had cleared the yards. Floodlights buzzed overhead, casting long shadows between the cargo stacks. Reyes stayed behind, logging stragglers into the manifest. Just a few crates left to verify. Connolly moved through the lot like usual, clipboard tight to her side, a slow, deliberate pace. She didn't speak, didn't glance his way. But when she passed Bay 7, something slipped from her satchel. Clink. Soft. Metallic. She didn't stop. Didn't look back. Reyes waited. 2 full minutes. Then walked over and picked it up. It was a ring. Heavy worn brass. Ground at the edge, like it had been rubbed smooth over time. But just enough detail remained. Bud/S318. And etched faintly inside the inner band, a line nearly erased by years of wear. Earned. Not kept. He turned it in his hand. The weight was wrong for a replica. Too warm. Too real. She had worn this. Or carried it. And chosen to let it fall. When Reyes brought it back to her, she was standing near the forklift pad, looking out toward the sound of the ocean. She didn't turn when he approached. He held it out silent. She didn't reach for it, just glanced at the ring in his palm, then back to the sea. "You shouldn't be holding that," she said. Her voice wasn't cold, just steady. "It belongs to someone who didn't make it through," she added. Reyes didn't move. "Maybe," he said. "Or maybe it belongs to someone who never stopped carrying the others." A long silence. Then, for the first time, she looked directly at him. No smile. No nod. But something in her eyes shifted. Not gratitude. Permission. That night, Reyes didn't record the ring in the lost item log. He placed it in the back drawer of his desk. Didn't lock it. Didn't mark it. Just left it there. Right where someone might find it. When they were ready to know. The commander arrived unannounced. No posted schedule. No formal inspection. Just a convoy pull-in and a quiet step onto the lot. Old boots, silver at the temples, and a presence that made even the forklift tech stand a little straighter. Commander Nash. Retired SEAL Team 2. Rumored to have walked out of 3 ops that never made it into briefing books. Reyes only recognized him from a distance. The man didn't speak much. Didn't linger. Just scanned the yards, exchanged nods with senior staff, and walked the edge of the perimeter like he was looking for something that wasn't on a list. He found her behind the generator stack. Connolly was mid-inventory, scribbling serials on a clipboard, sweat on her brow, gloves worn to the seam. She didn't see him at first, but when she looked up, her pen stopped. Nash took one more step, then froze. The silence between them felt old, heavy, like a memory pressed into the concrete. Then, just a whisper. Rowan. No rank, no title. Just her name, like it meant something still unfinished. She didn't reply. But she didn't look away. Nash's jaw tensed. "You never put your name on that final report." She wiped her glove against her thigh. "I wasn't asked to." "You should have been." She glanced toward Reyes, who stood still at the edge of the platform, watching. Then she turned back to Nash. "You needed someone to pass. I passed it to him." Nash took out something small from his jacket. A folded patch. Not standard issue. No Velcro. No edge trim. Just a cloth trident, frayed from use. He placed it gently on the crate beside her clipboard, then looked her in the eye. "You wore this. You earned it. Even if no one wrote it down." And then he walked away. Reyes moved slowly to where she stood. She didn't touch the patch. Didn't even glance at it again. She just returned to her checklist. "I guess they never lost track of you after all," Reyes said quietly. She kept writing. "No," she replied. "They just stopped saying my name out loud." Word spread without anyone speaking. No announcement. No bulletin. But after that day, after Commander Nash left the patch behind and Connolly never picked it up, something changed in the air. Reyes noticed it first. One morning, as he crossed the lot for first shift, he saw a junior logistics tech standing near the intake scanner, standing like she did, feet planted, shoulders level, watching everything, saying nothing. The clipboard in her hand was squared clean. Every box checked in pencil, not pen. Just like Connolly. A week later, a trainee from BUD/S Class 365 passed Reyes by the storage shed. "You work with her?" he asked. "With who?" "The woman in logistics. Civilian. Rowan." Reyes blinked. "You know her?" The trainee shrugged. "We don't talk. But some of us leave the gate early. She's already there. Every day. Same routine. Never misses. Why do you care?" The trainee looked down, then back up. His voice softened. "She was there when I came back from a no-go swim. Didn't say anything. Just handed me water and walked away. I didn't quit." He paused. "I think she knew I wouldn't. Before I did." Connolly never spoke about it. Never explained herself. But her patterns began to echo. People folded straps the way she did. Stood the way she stood. Listened longer before speaking. Even Reyes. He didn't know when it started. Maybe the day he returned her ring. But he found himself standing where she used to. He caught mistakes early. Learned to watch hands instead of eyes. To say less, and notice more. She wasn't training them. But she was changing them. Quietly. Permanently. One evening, Reyes saw her by the loading dock. Alone. Watching the sun lower past the west fence. The wind off the ocean moved her hair just slightly. She didn't notice him. Didn't need to. He stayed back. Didn't speak. Just let the silence hold. Because some legacies aren't shouted or saluted. They're absorbed. She was gone on a Monday. No farewell. No final round. No clearance form signed. Just gone. Her locker was empty. The clipboard she'd used every day sat clean on the desk. No ink, no pencil marks. Only a folded square of cloth beneath it. Reyes was the first to notice. He opened the drawer out of habit. Inside sat the ring. Not locked up. Not hidden. Just waiting. No one filed the departure notice. She wasn't listed on the reassignment board. Even the base database logged her badge as temporarily suspended. But no one called it in. They just adjusted. The loaders started showing up earlier. Crates got logged tighter. Seals gave quick nods at the yard gate, not to Reyes, not to the staff, but to the idea of her still being there. 2 weeks later, a recruit from Class 366 walked into Bay 3. He looked lost. Reyes found him by the intake logs, hands uncertain. "You okay?" Reyes asked. The recruit nodded slowly. "They told me to come ask about pre-dawn loading prep." "Who told you?" The recruit glanced toward the coast, then back. "I don't know. Just heard someone used to do it here. Right before first light." Reyes studied him, then handed over Connolly's old clipboard, the clean one. "Here," he said. "You won't find her name on the records." The recruit frowned. "Then how will I know who she was?" Reyes paused, then said, "You'll know when you stop needing to ask." That night, Reyes walked to the far end of the lot. The wind had picked up. The crates cast long shadows under the lights, and on the corner of the far bench, the one she always paused at, sat a small piece of tape, wrapped around a pencil stub. The pencil had no eraser, only a worn edge, and a single word written in Connolly's tight, slanted hand. Finish. She didn't wear the patch, didn't carry the title, but somehow, she became the standard. Not because of what she said, but because of what she chose to carry. When no one was watching,